Hi, welcome to this message. So I'm going to use my channeling abilities to bring forth the message that is most needed to hear by the person who is tuning into this reading today. Thank you. So the messages I'm getting here, first we've got the Ace of Pentacles. I'm recording this looking over a beautiful monument in Colorado. So this Ace of Pentacles feels like true for me at the moment. What I'm seeing with this is you're being given this gift from the universe, from spirit, of growth, of walking through that beautiful garden and seeing everything, just like in the springtime after winter. You see the growth that's happened. You may not have realized that was happening the whole time, but that's exactly what just happened. You walked through this garden. You were able to find that beautiful place within yourself that's open to receiving that beautiful message of growth. And now what I'm also seeing here is the Eight of Wands. Now this is representing a time of, you can look at it either way, manifestation coming in, manifestation going out. With this Ace of Pentacles here in the garden, it's a very tangible, practical thing. So that's what really leads me to the thought of this being a manifestation, because we get these two cards together. I'm seeing us walking away from stuff, such as the Five of Wands, which is showing conflict, disagreement. There's still growth within the wands if you look. So it's kind of like finding that balance between having those conversations, having different opinions, coming together and finding the middle ground, which is difficult in the moment. I struggle with that personally a lot with my throat chakra, with communication, but it's kind of reminding us to open us up to that so that we can have more conversations that matter, that get down to the nitty-gritty, instead of using that to, see that disagreement and, oh, that's bad, whatever. Like, look at it as good, because we're really learning how to grow from that. I'm also seeing the Four of Pentacles with that. So what it's telling me is that, this is a good thing. Like, keep things a little bit to yourself sometimes. You don't have to share every single thing with the world that's happening at you every moment. It's okay to leave these little conversations, things like that, within ourselves and work that way forward in order to, be able to express that towards other entities or other, societal programs, groups, things like that. It's kind of like taking a break from society in order to look within ourselves and find those things that we really find tangible. Now, here at the end, I'm seeing us walking away from a lot of things right now. We've got the Three of Swords and the Two of Swords. So what I'm seeing here is, a lot of this mental kind of like mental hurt, mental clarity, that just hasn't been there. We've been between these decisions and we've been waiting for things to kind of like come to us, not realizing that we actually have the power here. We can put down the swords, we can take off our blindfold, see what's truly before us, turn around, realize what's out there. But we've been keeping ourselves blind because we're scared, or there is some karmic things happening, which personally right now I am finding with my ancestor work, there's a lot of karma happening right now that's really just bringing everything to light and letting things go. So these hearts, this heart that we have the swords in, it feels like heartbreak. It feels like there's things that are just, you know, hurting us, that if we don't take our power back and we look like this Two of Swords, take off that blindfold, take those swords out of the way, we would never see that these swords in our heart are truly what's hurting us. And if you look at this, it's easy to turn it around, and what happens with gravity? They fall out, right? So it's kind of like this in-between point where we have a moment to sit here to decide, are these things really for me? Or is this really my emotions, my things that I need to work through? Or is this coming karmically that I'm just not seeing? Right. I do have another card that I'd like to pull here, and then we'll move on to some oracle. Yeah, so exactly. We've got the Seven of Pentacles here. So what this is telling me is that we really need to take the time to see the growth, to see the things that have happened, and use them in a way of alchemy, you know, to say, hey, I see these things that are growing and it's not quite there yet, but I'm willing to hang on and to watch it grow the rest of the way. 7 is really kind of like an almost there kind of point. You know, we're waiting for the next step, or the 8 to kind of like show us that, oh, this is on the way. But here we can see tangibly we have these pentacles growing in the garden, and they're not quite to the harvest, but we're getting really close. Funny, we just said that about alchemy because I see the Magician on the bottom. This one has been truly coming up for me personally lately. What I'm seeing with the Magician is, again, that hidden power within ourselves. We want to see that everything's working out, not realizing we actually have that within ourselves. We can use these tools available. We know that nothing is permanent and everything is temporary. And we can use this message to help us gather those tools within ourselves that we need to alchemize the situations that are here playing out from either past times, past lives, or anything like that. Could be current life as well. I'm getting a message here, so if you'll just bear with me for just a moment. I think we'll move on to some oracle cards here. So yeah, I'm really just feeling the growth here, like tangible growth that you can see, that everything's been handled behind the scenes. And yeah, winter solstice reflection. So this is the kind of time of year that we really want to reflect on the things that we've been through throughout this year, the growth that's happened from, you know, what we perceive as bad experiences really aren't bad. And I've learned this personally this year. They're not really bad, but everything has its hand in making us move towards the goals, the aspirations, the things that we need to heal in this life. And that's why I call myself Soul Root Tarot, because we have to get to the root in order to let our souls truly be free and move forward. I'm going to pull another card here. That was beautiful. I literally looked at the mountain this morning in Colorado, and there's snow, and just, it's so beautiful. I love it here. So if anybody would love to come visit, I'd be so up for a friend. So I'm going to pull another card here. Let's see. Being really selective today. Here we go. Dream time creation. So what I'm feeling with this creation, actually, I would like to add something. So last night I looked on YouTube and was researching the Pleiades. I had never really understood the story. I never really had, dived deep into that or anything. But lately I've been really pulled and called to start looking at something that I thought was scary, which isn't. So anyway, that's a little personal note, but I'm seeing with the Dreamtime, they talked about the Australian version of the Pleiades story, and it all came from creation, the Dreamtime. Things are created within your dreams, within the things that we think about, the seeds that are planted in just something someone says, or anything like that in life. It can plant that seed, and in that dream time is where that seed can really take root, can sprout, can be seen by our unconscious as well as our conscious. Whereas during the day, as humans, we get caught up in everyday life, stresses, those kinds of things. So the dream time is really a time where we can see these things that need to be seen that we're not seeing in our regular everyday life. Me personally, I haven't dreamed because I cut myself off from that a long time ago, but I'm ready to dream now. So I'm really excited that that came, because it really is just pushing me into it as well. Is there any other messages that would like to come forward about that? All right, yes. So the mountain strength, like I was just talking about, the mountains of Colorado. There's just something about it, in the United States, that this area known for the mountains, the power that comes off of that. There's certain areas that I've been to, such as Glenwood Springs, that's known for the healing waters, that's just so powerful, and you can feel that power of the mountain. So it's showing us to be really strong in all of these things that are going on, and again, to cultivate that strength in order to move forward and stand strong with all of the things going on around us, and being able to find and discern what's truly ours is our strength. Now, a funny story about Glenwood Springs, and I'd like to end with another card pulled, but I'd like to tell this story first because it is pretty pertinent. So recently in September, we went up to Glenwood Springs and we went to the springs. We camped for a few days and everything. I decided that day, hey, I've really wanted to take this hike up to the Doc Holliday Grave Cemetery. It's the most beautiful hike. In my personal opinion, it's my favorite in all of Colorado, just because it's so witchy, Anyway, so I'm going up here and I've wanted to go for months, so I finally decided I was going to do it. Well, that day, it started raining as soon as I got to the trailhead, and I thought, all right, I'm going to keep going. If it's just a little bit of rain, I can always turn back if I need to. It's not that far. It's just up a hill, but it is pretty rocky, so I'll be aware. I prayed for protection. So anyway, I'm going on this hike. All of a sudden, the storm comes in, and it's crazy. It's starting to rain. The mud, the rocks, it's all starting to slide. I'm alone on this trail, and all I could do was just laugh. Uncontrollably, no one around to even hear me, so I was just giddy in life. It just felt so freeing, even though I was in a scary situation that I was literally thinking, oh my gosh, I could probably die on this trail. I kept going. I was like, no, a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, in this crazy storm, lightning, everything. As I get up to the top of the trail, and I'm not quite up to the cemetery yet, but just about, I look over and there's this tree that looks like it had been struck by lightning. I thought, oh, that's interesting, right? And then I started seeing lightning out in the distance. I thought, okay, I'm almost there. Maybe I can just get up there and then I can turn around. All of a sudden, I was making that decision, starting to walk, and And I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here, but I was starting to walk past that point. Intuition said, hey, maybe you should turn around right now. My mind said, I want to get to the top. All of a sudden, thunder, lightning struck right there where I was standing. And that thunder was loud enough for me to hear through my intuition that I had been pushing my mind forward instead of my intuition at that moment in a scary situation, which is not something you really should do. I definitely do not recommend that. But anyway, in that moment, that thunder, it felt like that was from the universe saying, turn around, turn around, turn around. So I stood there for a second. I said, okay. I turned around. I start walking down the trail, and again, it's flooding. It's mud, rock sliding. I'm alone. I'm laughing. I'm giggling the whole way down, just soaked. And it really is one of the most beautiful hikes I've been on, because it showed me that listen to your intuition. You know, your mind might tell you, hey, you can get up to the top of that. You can go just push yourself a little bit further, right? But if your intuition is telling you, hey, like, this is not safe, you should really just turn around instead of trying to push your mind to that point of the detriment of yourself. So that story is really interesting and something I'll remember for the rest of my life, because it really, from that moment on, I had done the healing in the springs and everything, and I still didn't feel like I was at that point, but that moment just totally brought it all to me, like, oh, you can't heal through your mind. You need to heal through your intuition. And through that, it's really led me to the point of realizing that instead of working so hard by pushing your mind, your body, and everything to the point where you are in detriment of yourself, be quiet, be still, listen to that inner voice that's telling you, turn around, you know, or you can go a little bit further, but don't hurt yourself, kind of thing. So that was my story about my hike. I'd like to pull one more card here, and these are my goddess cards. This is actually the first oracle deck I had ever gotten, and it honestly changed my life. And I mean, it can be for men or women, but it's you know, goddesses throughout history and everything. So I'd like to call forward now any goddesses that would like to come forward for a message to close out this reading, please. Oh, beautiful. The two messages I just got. So this is Arakura, which is blossoming. You are just getting started. So have patience with yourself and the process, and do not give up. And yeah, that's exactly it. You're blossoming, you're blooming, you're letting the things go that don't really matter anymore, turning more towards the intuition side, the feminine side, softening, making things tangible in your life, but softening into it, just knowing that, you know, abundance will be given to you. We also get Guinevere, which is a Celtic goddess. And it says true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. So again, I was talking about that self-love, intuition, feminine way of allowing ourselves to soften, allowing ourselves to bring in that love for ourselves, and in turn, that's going to cultivate love in a platonic, romantic, that doesn't matter. Love is love in any way that the person sees fit. So I love that we just closed out with that. I hope this really helped somebody, and if you would love to subscribe, I would appreciate it. If there's anything else that I missed, please feel free to write it in the comments, have discussions. If they are not positive or for growth, I will delete it. No bullying or anything like that. But as my first video, I just really wanted to put this out there and channel and do the things that I've been so afraid to do my whole life. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped. And If you'd like to join me for the next one, stay tuned. Thank you.